Hello and welcome to today's race for the nr2003-2007 Sim Series, but it follows the 2026 NASCAR Cup Series schedule. Tony Stewart has put it on the front row today with Jimmy Johnson next to him. Before we get into that though, let's take a look at the points heading into this race so you can see where your favorite driver stacks up. On the pole position for today is Tony Stewart, and lining up next to him is Jimmy Johnson. Denny Hamlin and Jeff Gordon make up row number 2 with Kyle Busch and Clint Boyer in row number 3. Ryan Newman next to Boris Said, one of the ringers in this field, in row number 4 with Greg Biffle and Kurt Busch in row number 5. Ron Fellows, another one of those ringers, next to Martin Truex Jr. in row 6 with Paul Menard with a great qualifying effort for his standards, and Casey Mears lining up next to him in row number 7. Jeff Burton and Kevin Harvick in row number 8 with Matt Kenseth and Carl Edwards, your last race winner, in row number 9. Then you go up onto the straightaway to see row number 10, which consists of Johnny Sauter and Elliott Sadler. Lining it behind them in row number 11 you have Robbie Gordon and Casey Kane with Ricky Rudd and David Reagan in row number 12. Row 13 consists of Dale Earnhardt Jr. and P.J. Jones, once again another one of those road ringers. And behind them you have Juan Pablo Montoya and Dale Jarrett. Jeff Green and J.J. Yaley make up row number 15 with Bobby Albani and David Stremme in row number 16. Row 17 consists of Jamie McMurray and David Gilliland, and row 18 consists of Regan Smith and Reed Sorensen. Row number 19 consists of Kyle Petty and Kenny Wallace, and row 20 consists of Joe Nemechek and Sterling Marlin. Row 21 you have Brian Vickers and Bill Elliott, and rounding out the field is Dave Blaney. Before we get into this race, let's go down trackside to get the command to fire up the engines. Here from Watkins Glen. I'm definitely going to pronounce that wrong several times during today's race, but you'll get used to it probably, maybe.
Drivers, start your engines.
And there's the engines fired up here from Watkins Glen. As the field rolls off the grid. As per usual, there are stages 13, 28, and then we race to the lap 45 checkered flag. As the field makes its way up the hill. This is one of the longest pace laps you have all season, so let's highlight some of these road ringers. Firstly, Boris Said, who is also a super speedway ringer. He ran with us at COTA and at Talladega a few races ago. He lines up inside the top 10 for today's race, trying to have a good run for his number 60 team. Just a few rows back, you have Ron Fellows in the 96 Hall of Fame car. He was out there at COTA as well. He'll be in that car for all the road courses this season. And then you're going to go a little bit further back in the field, where you will find P.J. Jones in the 00 car. He also ran with us at COTA and was actually doing pretty well. I think he got like a top 20 that day. Ran in the top 10 for a little bit. So we'll see how Jones runs today at Watkins Glen. But as the field comes around the carousel here, we are about to go green here from the Glen. It can get chaotic here. COTA was not chaotic really because of how large that venue is, but this place is much tighter and much smaller. And now the field waiting to come around to the green flag. Tony Stewart has not won yet this year. Jimmy Johnson has. Denny Hamlin has, Jeff Gordon has not. Kyle Busch has, Clint Boyer has not. Ryan Newman and Boris Said have not won. Greg Biffle and Kurt Busch have not won. So crack open your drink like I just did. Sit back and enjoy the show because we are going to go racing here from the Watkins International Speedway. Raceway, whatever. Here we go. Green flags in the air, and we're racing at the Glen. Everyone hard on the brakes here for turn 1 and 2 as Johnson trying to get ahead of Tony Stewart. As you see, the 25 from Mears getting on the line for back. The top 3 now all slotted in the line as they head for the bus stop for the first time today. As you see the field coming up through the S's. This carousel you can really easily run wide and go straight into those tire areas. So these drivers all have to be careful about that, which all of them have so far so clean. They all will likely make it through lap 1. But the last turn is kind of treacherous in this game. For the AI who do be guilty of overdriving it. Here we go for the final turn for the first time today, and that's what I expected. Tony Stewart and Johnson both in the wall. Here comes Kyle Busch. But Stewart leads lap 1 from the Glen. Stewart gonna try to hold off Kyle Busch here up the hill in the S's. And he will be able to play the 5, so Stewart hangs on to the lead despite getting into those barriers there at the last turn. And we got a crash. Jimmy Johnson's gone around. So too Clint Boyer. Paul Menard gets involved. Bobby Gordon in the 7. PJ Jones in the 00. Caution applies for the first time today. Johnson is out of it. So too is the 00 of Jones. Robbie Gordon's got issues with his car. Paul Menard was caught up in it. He seems to be able to drive away. But already lap 1 chaos there. There's Jimmy Johnson, who started on the front row and he is out on lap number 2. Let's take a look at what happened there with him and Clint Boyer in the 07. So Johnson had fallen back to 6th, and he actually overdrives it and gets into Boyer, and Johnson slides across the track. It's Boyer that they end up hitting. And Johnson runs into the 07 of Boyer and gets hit by Robbie Gordon and PJ Jones. Brian Vickers trying to check up, gets into the 66 of Jeff Green. And then as they came back around to the line, it was Tony Stewart who continues to lead this race. So here's Casey Kane might have an issue, or he's just, who knows what's wrong with the 9. And tough break for Robbie Gordon. He was hoping that this was going to be a good race for him, and he's likely going to be out. Thought we would be crashing again up here. But you see, you're going to see split strategies today, just like this. Some of these guys will come down pit road for service, and others will stay out. But Stewart's going to have a sizable gap. Coming to pit road. So there's Stewart coming down pit road. Hamlin, Gordon, Said, Kurt Busch, Fellows, Mears, a good chunk of the field is going to stay out here. And as expected, PJ Jones, Jimmy Johnson, and Robbie Gordon are out of the race. Stewart getting held up here on pit road. He's going to lose several spots, probably because he had to, well, there's still a little bit of damage on that 20 cars. I think Kenseth got the wall there exiting pit road. Menard and Boyer are getting repairs. But everyone all the way back to Dave Blaney stayed out. And we're gonna get to go green, so 1, 2, 3. 16 cars stayed out here on the first of many strategies today. It's really dependent on when the cautions will fall, but as they come around back to the restart, Denny Hamlin leading the field back to the green. Green flag back in there from Watkins. And it is a great jump for Hamlin in the 1. As they head up the hill. Hamlin ahead of Gordon. Now Kurt Busch is going to look for a move on Boyer said here into the bus stop. And Gordon's going to look out for a move on Hamlin into the bus stop as well. Hamlin not giving it up easily though. He's able to hang on to the position here as they enter the carousel. But Gordon hangs low here in the carousel. Hamlin's going to be side by side with him still, though as they race down the straightaway. Hamlin had the advantage through that corner, but Gordon's still going to be inside. Let's see how this plays out. Bang a little bit, but Hamlin is going to have the advantage across the line and the momentum. See, they're getting into it back here, and someone went for a slide, but the caution does not fly here. You see Paul Menard coming back down pit road with his damage. But you see, there's just a gaggle of cars way held up behind Haley. I think that's because of the 22 of Dave Blaney, potentially. Blaney's not a fast car, so I think he's been holding people up back there. But Gordon's looking for another move on Hamlin here into the carousel. And we have a caution for the 40 of David Stremme. He got turned into the guardrail by the 66 car of Jeff Green here. Let's take a look what happened. It's a bit of a bad camera angle, but let's take a look. So it just seems like a misjudgment on the 66 car's part. He didn't anticipate the 40 to break that early, and that was the result. You saw Hamlin leads Gordon across the line. The rest of them failed to make sure that they made it back across the line. But yeah, Dave Blaney lost. Well, 16 people stayed out. So is it a gain for Blaney? It's a 10 spot net gain for now, since he was running well, more than 10 spot net gain. But let's see how many people pit, as we're now halfway here through stage number 1. And this could turn into a bit of a wild card race with strategy and stuff, as those guys that stayed out, except for Ron Fellows, Casey Mears, Elliott Sadler, Yaley, Gillen, and those guys that pitted earlier are coming back in. So Fellows is going to be your race leader. Someone else back there is staying out. Kyle Petty is going to stay out there. Let's take a look at the pit stops. And Labonte had a good pit stop. He's going to come out second off pit road. Still a bit of a slow start for Tony Stewart, who has a bit of damage from the impact into the barrier on lap 1. There you see Regan Smith ahead of Clint Boyer. McMurray got a bit of hood damage from something. But it'll be Ron Fellows leading us back to the restart. Can he hang on to win this opening stage, or will he get overtaken by Casey Mears in the 25? So it's the top 6 that stayed out, or the top 7 actually. I think it's the top 6. We got one car coming back down pit road. That's the 43 of Bobby Labonte. Right, here we go. The green flag's back in the air. And it is the top 6 that stayed out. And Fellows is hoping to use these cars behind him as a buffer over Denny Hamlin and others who just pitted. And go get himself some... Well, he doesn't need the stage points, he's really just racing for the win. And you see Elliott Sadler making a move for second spot on Casey Mears in the 25. Can he get it? Gordon, the bold move on Kyle and Kurt Busch. He may be able to go get Boris Said, and well, his Said is being held up by Kyle Petty in the 45 right here. But he's only has to give up one spot. Petty throws it into the barriers. You see David Stremme hitting pit road again, and Menard's actually going to go a lap down here. And it looks like Joe Nemechek and Casey Kane either came down pit road as well, or had an issue. But it's still Fellows leading, but Gordon is making his way through traffic. He's gone by David Gillen in the 38 car. And obviously these guys aren't required to pull over. Some of these guys are racing to be around the chase bubble as well. Gordon making contact with Casey Mears in the 25 there. To go on stage number 1 here from the Glen. have a caution, I believe. Yes, caution flag flies. And I believe someone went for a slide there off the last corner. So this may end stage 1 here. I don't know. Will the 96 pit and give up the stage 1? Because we've seen that a couple of times this season. That's what the caution's for. And it was Johnny Sauter going for a slide there off the last turn. They do get a bit trigger happy with the cautions here. But just on his own, I guess they didn't want him to get clobbered and flip over or something, so they just threw the caution. But Fellow's got the ball, and Denny Hamlin will lead us back to the caution. So Hamlin will be your race leader. And we'll see how many of these guys were banking on it going green the full way, as Paul Menard is actually 2 laps down. Let's see how many of them pit. They're all going to come down pit road. Yeah, this is pretty much the whole field. They're going to get the checkered flag for stage 1 when they go back green. But the whole field is coming down pit road at the moment, except for maybe the 15 of Paul Menard. Yes, Menard stays out. So Menard, being the only car lapped, will get the free pass as well. But Hamlin will come off pit road first. Hamlin, Gordon, Said, Bush, Earnhardt Jr., Kyle Busch, Newman, Harvick, Truex, and I believe Dale Jarrett might have gotten a stage point or 2. Looks so good on him as we take a look at Paul Menard to see if he'll be able to catch up to the queue in time for the restart. And luckily for Menard over here, if he pits, he won't lose another lap unless he sits there for an extended period of time, which it appears he's going to stay out since we did just see him in pit road. You see Stremme sitting in pit road. He's had a bit of trouble today after that contact with Jeff Green that sent him spinning around. But it appears Menard will catch up to the back of this field. As they come around for the restart. So Stremme's going to go a lap down, but it's going to be Denny Hamlin who's going to win stage 1 when we take the green flag, and we will be racing all the way to stage number 2. Green flag back in the air. And Dale Jarrett does end up getting a stage point, so good on him. As they race up the hill, Hamlin and Gordon 1-2, Boris Said trying to hang with him in third. And the 60 of Said doesn't run every race, you know. Next time out, we will be racing in the All-Star from Dover Motor Speedway, and then we'll be off to the 600, so For some of these guys that haven't won yet this season, if they aren't already qualified for the All-Star, this is their chance to make next week's All-Star race. And also, there's the Open. Boris said making a move on Jeff Gordon for second. Said moves into the second spot. As you see several cars getting the wall there at the exit of the last turn. Said now back under fire from Jeff Gordon. But he's able to hold the second position. But then again, Gordon's not going to let him run away, but he's going to have a bit of help from the draft off of Denny Hamlin. Here we go into the bus stop. And the caution's out. Dale Jarrett and Carl Edwards and Juan Pablo Montoya. Big crash at the top of the hill. Looks like Reagan and Bill Elliott are involved as well as David Gilland and the 38 car. So the caution flag is out. We will be coming back around. Several cars out of the race. Oh, that was a big impact. Let's rewind back to where this originated. So Montoya's trying to get around the 44, and the 44 gets stuck in the Catrins. I think Clint Boyer got a piece of it, and they're just log jamming right here. Everyone's slamming on the brakes so they don't get damaged. And I think Boyer went for a slide during that. Boyer might have gotten tagged by... Yeah, he got tagged by Montoya. Luckily he wasn't a few feet back, or he would have ended up like Carl Edwards in the 99. Just a result of the pit strategy here. You have slower cars closest to the front, and you sometimes get wrecks like that. It'll be interesting to see how many people will come down pit road. Paul Menard gets the free pass and he'll be back on the lead lap here. So then it'll be down to Stremme for the free passes once Menard gets back on the lead lap. Let's see how many cars we get down pit road. Kurt Busch is going to be the first one to stay out. And I think Earnhardt Jr. is probably going to follow suit with him. Yeah, Dale Jr. will be following suit. Yaley Mears staying out. Menard's going to be pitting here. Sauter makes a last second call to come down pit road. But a good handful of cars that stay out here under this caution flag. Jeff Gordon's going to win the race off pit road with Said behind him. Hamlin a bit slow in the pit road here. Maybe they were just trying to ensure that his car was packed full of fuel. So you see Paul Menard sitting here in pit road. Clint Boyer also getting damage assessed, and Boyer's actually going to be able to get repairs and be out and away. Seems like Menard is waiting on repairs. So Reagan, Elliott, and Paul Menard is out of the race now. So Reagan, Elliott, Menard, Edwards, Jarrett, Montoya, Gillen, Gordon, Jimmy, Johnson, and Jones are out of this race. Here we come back to the restart. Green flag back in there, Kurt Busch leads him 1. Yaley looks outside on Earnhardt Jr. but can't really get a run built up. There's Labonte back down pit road. As you see them head up the hill. We got some slower cars again that stayed out. Kane seems to either have damage or just not a good car today. He's a bit slow. Kyle Petty, Joe Nemechek. So how will these faster cars navigate these slower traffic that stayed out? Obviously, they're all professionals out here, so they know what they're doing, or should know what they're doing. As Gordon gets held up by Jamie McMurray in the 26. Dale Jr. is coming to pit road. Yaley almost hit the wall and does hit the wall. Here on the exit of the final corner, so does Joe Nemechek in the 13. As you'll get the helicopter view into 1. Oh, and you got a crash. Casey Mears around. So too is Sterling Marlin. Kevin Harvick with damage. Jeff Gordon with damage. Man, we really cannot get into a rhythm in this race. Jamie McMurray just knocked out the tire barriers back here. I'm surprised it took someone this long to do that. Let's take a look at what happened to the 14 and 25. So he was trying to make a move on Mears, and Gordon got into the 14, so did Harvick. How'd Stewart go around? Stewart ran into Kevin Harvick. That was a blessing in disguise for Bobby Labonte, sorry. Because he got to avoid that right now. There's David Stremme, he'll be the free pass. Get one of his laps back. So if they could get into a rhythm, since we're 20 laps in and I don't think we've run more than 5 laps under green. Maybe we'll see something play out. And you see some cars coming to pit road. Busch, Fellows, and Yaley stay out. Hamlin is gonna jump out of line back there. He's gonna stay out. So is Ryan Newman in the 12. Joe Nemechek comes in. Kenny Wallace in the 78 is gonna stay out. Stremme's gonna pit, so I don't know how well that's gonna work out for him, being the free pass. He'll probably not be able to restart with the Q. You see Jeff Gordon coming down pit road with damage to his hood. Some of these guys have been running around with damage on their cars, so we'll see how it works for the rest of these guys. Stewart chooses not to take repairs. But yeah, there's Harvick's gonna go without his hood. Sag's gonna get repairs. But the 24 of Jeff Gordon is sitting here on pit road getting repaired, which may end his chances of winning and extend his winless streak just a few in another race. Next time out we go to Dover, as mentioned earlier, for the All-Star race, and then we go to Charlotte for the 600. And Gordon's gonna go without his hood as well, so Jimmy got the cue to wave around, and there he goes. So here comes Stremmy to get one of his laps back. So the 40 is going to be in about the S's maybe by the time they go green. Because he's pretty much at the end of the front straightaway. Yeah, he's braking for turn 1 as we speak. But here we come back to the restart zone. And green flag's going to be back in the air. 32 cars still out here. Busch with the lead into 1. But Yaley looks low, can't quite get there. Gonna peek to the outside of Kurt Busch now. And we got a caution. Joe Nemechek going around with Casey Kane. And welcome back to the lead lap, David Stremme. Yeah, pretty self-explanatory crash, just over-aggressiveness from the drivers. Does anyone pit here? Everyone... Yaley's gonna stay out with Hamlin. Stremme's gonna pit again. But here's Ron Fellows and Kurt Busch down pit road, who were both running in the top 3. They're coming here for pit service. Fellows in the 96 with a bit of a slow pit stop here. Seems like he has a bit of damage to the back of his number 96 car. Let's get a look at it. Seems a little crumpled up. Stremme practically gets the cue again to go overtake the field. he is boxed in. And Stremmy's actually going to get the yellow extended bio lap, so it'll be about 3 to go on the stage when we restart here, with JJ Yaley up front. 30 cars left in the race now. You know, I expected this race to be chaotic, but not this chaotic. As we're coming back to the green flag. And Yaley leads us to it. Yaley needs some good stage points here, and maybe a stage win if everything works out. As they race up the hill. And he's hoping that we can just get through this cleanly. But they almost wiped out the 78 of Kenny Wallace right here. And obviously, despite being slower, Wallace saw the flies roll over as Hamlin got by Yaley for the race lead. So Hamlin, Newman, Yaley, your top 3. But Hamlin's going to get the wall. The whole top 3 is going to get the wall. Here comes Greg Biffle. Biffle moves up into second for that. Because there's 2 to go in stage 2. Everyone clean for the S's here as we come for the bus stop. Biffle trying to chase down Hamlin, who's on older tires, for the stage win. See cars like Kevin Harvick and Jeff Gordon getting shuffled back. But here they come to the white flag in stage 2. Hamlin's going to keep it out of the barriers this time, which he does. Biffle doesn't. Here comes Newman back for second. White flag in stage number 2. As they race side by side for second, and the one as Hamlin scampers away up the race lead. Biffle and Newman still side by side, but Biffle's going to get the edge here up the hill. And Stewart making a move on JJ Yaley, his teammate. Biffle able to hang on over Newman. But Hamlin's already run away with the stage win. And through the final corner he'll go, and it'll be Denny Hamlin who ends up winning stage 2 as we appear to have a caution for Reed Sorensen in the 41. So Hamlin wins stage 2 over Biffle, Newman, Stewart, Yaley, Kyle Busch, Kenseth Jr., Jeff Burton, and Elliott Sadler. Now we can take a look at what happened to the 41 of Reed Sorensen. He just overdrives it and gets into the barrier instead of trying to stop. caution is for. Split strategy again here as they come down pit road. It's mainly guys towards the end of the field. You know, JJ Yaley coming down pit road after getting his stage points. You see Biffle, Kurt Busch, Fellows, Boris Said as well up here. Earnhardt Jr. Here they go off pit road. Hamlin coming down pit road behind the pace car. So that's going to hand the lead to Ryan Newman in 12. Burton and Sadler coming down pit road as well. But the green flag flies again. Stewart chasing after Ryan Newman in the 12 as they head up the hill. Stewart's all over him. Maybe he can try to set up a move into the bus stop, but Kyle Busch is going to put pressure on the 20. So now it's Stewart that comes out ahead of Busch. And down into the corner they go. And we got cars pitting, so a chunk of cars are coming to pit road here under green. Despite having a chance to come down pit road under that last caution. So that's now going to promote Dale Jr. to the race lead. And all these guys are taking tires and fuel, so it's not like they have anything wrong. And the caution is out because Kyle Petty has gone around, so there goes any strategy because of a back marker. And it is a dumb move pulled on Starling Marlin. That sends him around. Perfect that Kyle Petty sucks for the guys that just pitted, or maybe not, because most of these guys are staying out. So Dale Jr. will lead the field back to green, assuming that nothing weird happens here. Brian Vickers pulling off to the side of a tire failure, it appears. So Vickers is trying to let everyone by. But he needs to get to pit road. And he will get to pit road here with no issues. So here we go, back to the green. Can Boris Said make a run at Dale Jr. for the race lead as they come off turn 1. And up the hill towards the S as they go, Said takes a peek, but isn't able to get next to the 8th Dale Jr. Now the best course of action for Sad would be make a movie right here, but Kurt Busch already thought of that. So now Sad running Kurt Busch wide to hold on to second, and does. Junior ran wide in the carousel, Regan Smith into the tires. Marloff can finally be done for the day. Boy, Sad got the race lead because Dale Jr. appears to have come down pit road. So now, as we near the end of the race, can Boris Said make it on fuel to the checker? Said's got a problem. The engine is gone on the 60 car, and the green flag's gonna be back in midair. And Kurt Busch is gonna get the lead from that. So the 60 of Boris Said with an engine issue gives a few minutes up the hill. And we got a caution for Clint Boyer in the 07. He actually went over, and it was contact with Dave Blaney that sends him over. So here we come back to the restart zone now with 5 laps to go. Green flag back there. Biffle now chasing after Kurt Busch as they make their way around the slow car of Jeff Gordon, who has engine damage. Jeff Burton's gonna get the wall. Somehow they keep it straight. Kyle Busch and Jeff Gordon are going to drag race here into the bus stop. But Busch should easily get clear for the spot. Here for the carousel. Kurt Busch and Greg Biffle battling for the lead up here. Biffle going to have that inside lane, or was going to have that inside lane. Now it's going to be Kurt Busch who has it, but he's going to run a little wide. Crashing behind. Martin Truex Jr. goes for a slide. Truex got hooked around by the 25 of Casey Mears. Kenseth and Stewart both split the middle through that. And Stremme gets spun around by Jeff Green under caution. The same 2 cars that got together earlier. So we may have a little bit of a midfield rivalry brewing. Or it could have been a misjudgment on the 66 car's part. Tony's gonna come down pit road here. Well, there's gonna be 2 to go actually. Truex will be coming down pit road. Will this be the only restart we see today? Only late restart we see today? I don't think so, considering we haven't run more than like 3 laps on the green. But we'll see as the field comes around to the restart. 2 laps to go from the Glen. Green flag back in the air. As the field roars toward turn 1. Kurt Busch ran a little wide there. Those fellows making a move on Earnhardt Jr. but can't get the momentum to get side by side. Biffle all over the back bumper of Kurt Busch in the 2 as they head for the bus stop. Busch got the better exit. But Biffle's not going away just yet. And will the fuel hang on? Everyone through clean. Here's Biffle to the inside of Kurt Busch as they come to the white flag. Biffle clear, white flag in the air. We will not see another overtime or another restart. Biffle with the lead down in 1 and 2 as they head up for the S's. Has he done enough, or does Kurt Busch or Tony Stewart have anything left to say? Stewart's going to get a chance to go at Kurt Busch into the bus stop. But he doesn't take it. Busch now running wide of pressure from Stewart as Stewart looks side by side down the straightaway. He can't get there. But Biffle just has to navigate one more turn and he'll be home free. And the battle for second still rages on. Biffle gets the wall. Here we come to the checker. It'll be Tony Stewart who wins at Watkins Glen. Unbelievable. Tony Stewart out of nowhere. Let's take another look at that finish. This is why I hesitated, because Biffle gets the barrier. Kurt Busch, I believe, got into it a bit as well. No, he just checked up. And Stewart gets clear as they come to the checker. By that much, Tony Stewart is going to win at Watkins Glen over Greg Biffle and Kurt Busch. How about that first win of the year for Tony Stewart?